Welcome everybody to What's NXT for February 13th, 2019, or St. Valentine's Eve.
Yep.
I am, of course, your host, the Rated R reviewer, Stephen Osborne, joined as always by the General, Jerry Slaughter.
Good evening, wrestling fans.
How'd you like this show, Jerry?
I thought it was pretty
Compared to last week,
yeah, compared to last week,
this was gold. That's the best way I can put it.
We had our 4 matches.
Not the best show that I've ever seen of NXT, but pretty damn good. Maybe even great. We got 4 matches, which is always a plus for me.
Video packages.
We got plenty of video packages. We got two that made sense, went well together, because we're getting a match next week for the North American Championship, but we will get into that. First, before we review the show, I want to remind everybody that our NXT party goes up tomorrow, and up on the big screen we should be having Chris Mace, the Holiday. I hope you get that joke. Took us a while to come up with a nickname for him that we thought was pretty funny in this case.
Yeah.
So
we'll also have the Simple Man Noah Foster as well.
Yes, and we should have just had our predictions video go up for WWE Elimination Chamber 2019. We did those with Noah as well. He was up on the big screen.
Great time.
Great time. You should really watch that video. I'm not saying Noah says fuck, but I'm not saying he doesn't. You should watch that video. Just saying. Anyway, if you'd like to be up on the big screen and do a review of NXT UK with us, though, we'd like to have you up there. Find me on Twitter, find the General on Twitter or Facebook, find us in Armbar, leave a comment down below, let us know how we can get a hold of you. We will do our plugs at the end of the video, so if you want to find my Twitter or his Twitter or whatever, just fast forward to the end of the video or enjoy the show, because this was a hell of a fucking show.
Yes, it was.
And I'm anxious to get started. We start with what should have been a squash match. This should have been the squash match of the show, but it really was not. Immediately, I recognized the signs of a squash match by Donovan Dijakovic. Dijakovic. Jackoff comes out. And immediately I'm like, he's not ready to lose, so who's the jobber going to be? And we get one half of the Mighty. We get Shane Thorne, the only one that's left. They lose half the Mighty, and the one they're left with is half broken down. He's coming out with a knee brace on.
He looks like he rolled around an electric tape.
Yeah, he's got all that trainer's tape and whatnot on him, and it looks like he's not in for a good time. No. He actually put on a really good match against Dominic, and I'm going to shoot this to you to let us know what you thought about the match before I do any of the notes. I had more notes than I've ever had in a Dijakovic match.
Well, that's the thing, because we've seen him against like your enhancement talents. We've seen him against that Brazilian jiu-jitsu fighter guy, and that match was I'm gonna say it was just boring as hell. And but this time he's actually in the ring with. They called him a veteran. He's actually somewhat
of an established NXT star, even if it was in tag team affairs. But
even then, like before NXT, he was like still tagging as part of the Mighty, and I think they were called something else before then. But TM61. TM61, yes. And sure enough, we see a lot of different offense out of Shane Thorne naturally, but then. The real story with the match was the arm. The
arm and the leg. Shane Thorne puts about maybe 60-40 of his offense into Dijakovic's left arm and left leg. He's trying to take his power game with the arm. He's trying to take the vertical base out with the leg.
And you can't smart. You can't really do feast your eyes if you can't lift the dude up and also can't use the leg to actually nail the knee. So it was like some very smart wrestling out of Shane Thorne.
So basically, Thorne has got the upper hand for a while, just working over the left arm and the left leg. I mean, like you said, it's hard to stand when the guy keeps swatting your leg out. I mean, and he was dropping kicks like he just didn't care.
Yeah.
As long as they were landing on the left side, he was good with it. And different kinds of kicks, soccer-style kicks, and then stomp-style kicks, just
Nigel McGuinness said he had the uneducated feet. He had the feet that dropped out of high school in the 9th grade. They were wild. They were crazy. They were just all over the place.
So Thorne goes up to the top rope, and Dijakovic follows him up there and goes for a superplex off the middle rope. But Thorne kind of does a European uppercut that just knocks Jack off the middle rope in a backflip motion, but he lands. And then he comes and he super kicks Thorne's leg out from under him, and he topples to the outside.
Yeah.
And then what I had never thought I would see out of a guy the size of Dijakoff, he fucking does a springboard from the ring off the top rope to the outside. Granted, he didn't do a flip or anything, but he did a corkscrew double axe handle.
Yeah.
And it looked sick.
Yes, it did.
Absolutely
well,
sick.
You got a guy that's about 6'7", I think it is, flying at you like that. It doesn't matter if he just was going to flick you with his finger and his thumb. It would still fucking hurt.
So he drops that on him, throws him back in the ring, sets him up, and we get the Feast Your Eyes, which is like that fireman's carry. Or, well, it's a...
Into a knee lift, yeah.
It's an inverted fireman's carry, so it's basically a torture rack into it's almost like the KOD.
Yeah.
Only he doesn't sit out. It's like a knee to face.
Yeah.
It's like a GTS. It's like a torture rack into a GTS.
Yep. It's called the FYE.
Feast Your Eyes. So that's what should have been a squash match, but definitely was not. It
was entertaining.
Yeah, absolutely. All of these matches were entertaining. The whole show was entertaining. But up next, we've got a promo by the Undisputed Era. I guess they're in the back of a semi.
It looks like it.
In the hauling unit, the big long box.
You had those slots in the wall where the ropes would hang through just to make hold all the merchandise and whatnot into place.
It's a very big truck bed. And they're just talking about this evening where they're going to show everybody that this is going to be the year of the Undisputed. And we kind of get that. A little bit of foreshadowing here. Up next, we get a recap of Io Shirai pinning Shayna Baszler last week in the women's 6-woman tag match. And this leads into an interview with Io Shirai and Kairi Sane. And Io just says...
She's going after a women's title.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I figured. She pinned the champion, so now she should get a championship match.
Kairi Sane's about to start talking, but lo and behold, she's interrupted by one Bianca Belair, who's still quite angry about how things ended the night that last night as well, with Io Shirai more or less getting the pin, but at the same time, Bianca feels like she did all the work.
But she's still completely delusional, because she's still repeating the phrase. I guess she just doesn't want to stop saying it. She's undefeated.
I like how she did to Io and Kairi, just back and forth.
She's not undefeated. Shayna Baszler beat her.
Yes.
Anyway.
But she's undefeated in her heart.
So, yeah, I don't know where that's going. Hopefully it's going to Bianca Belair being a full-fledged heel. And we just stop trying to pretend that she's a babyface just because the crowd likes her.
Pretty much.
She's a much better heel character.
She's got that cockiness and attitude to her, and it's perfect.
And next we have a match. Match number 2 out of a 4-match show.
A match we weren't really expecting, but at the same time we got, and it was beautiful.
I have so many notes about this match. A lot of this was beforehand. So we get Humberto Carrillo.
Yep.
And I think new to NXT, Stacy Irvin Jr.
Son of Stacy Irvin Sr.
They come out for a tag match, and honestly, the way this started off, I didn't think we were going to get a tag match. We had Cassius Ohno interrupt in between entrances, so we don't find out who their opponents are. Instead, he comes out and he addresses the NXT crowd.
Pretty much calls them, says he's sick of their faces, sick of their chants, sick of everything about the Full Sail University crowd, and that he was leaving. That he was gone. But the cool thing about it is he's wearing a Masato Tanaka t-shirt, which I thought was just awesome.
This promo was like if you asked a 5th grade student, or 3rd grade student even, to write their version of a bad guy promo for wrestling. He comes out and he has no pizzazz. He's got no funny wit about him.
Nope.
He's just telling the crowd, I don't like you, and you shouldn't like me, and I'm getting the fuck out of here.
So
screw you guys, I'm going home.
He's doing his shtick, and out of nowhere, Keith Lee comes marching down from behind him and nails him with a roaring elbow.
He hits him with the discus elbow, and
made famous by Masaru Tanaka.
Lays him the fuck out, like he is completely out, laying on the ramp,
holding the microphone up still,
to the point to where Keith Lee says something like, "Oh no," or better yet, "Oh my God!" He sings it.
Yep.
And the crowd's digging this, and then we have the entrance of the tag team that is facing the almost forgotten Carrillo and Irvin.
Yep.
The Street Profits.
Yes.
Here's a piece of NXT entrance music that I do know who's coming when I hear it. I don't need to look at the Tron to see the names. They don't even give you that. Just doom 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 doom. I'm like, oh, Street Profit time.
Oh yeah. Well, they're making their way down the ramp, and sure enough, they take a little bit of time to make fun of the unconscious Cassius Ohno.
So Montez Ford lays down on his back next to the unconscious Ohno and starts flopping around like a fish.
Oh no, it's because Dawkins is doing a heart paddle thing that George Clooney does.
Oh, so I looked up a half a second too late. See, that's what happens on this show. When you look down for a half a second, you miss something.
He's doing the defibrillators.
But that's what he's here for.
Yep.
So they come out and they look like they're having fun, but now it's time for the match, and we get Ford versus Carrillo, and this is a fun way to start the match because these guys are just running off the ropes and flipping and dodging each other all over the fucking place.
One of my favorite tropes in any kind of match has always been when they both go for a drop kick, and that's what we got to see in that one as well. Pretty much, you both go for a drop kick. Both kip up almost the same way.
Yeah, that front flip up off your head.
Yep. And they both kip up to the delight of the crowd, to the delight of us, because we love ourselves as Humberto Carrillo. We love ourselves some Street Profits.
Then there's that babyface stare down, and then Humberto goes for a handshake.
Yes.
And Montez Ford is like, should I do it? Should I do it? All right, fine, whatever. It goes for the handshake. All right. You know, we're both faces, whatever.
And then BAM!
Heel turn.
Yes. I was about to say, I wouldn't really call it a heel turn as much as he's showing
attitude adjustment.
I can see that, they're showing that they can still be fun on the outside of the ring, and that they'll, crack wise, they'll dance, they'll do whatever. But when it comes to in-ring work, they're not going to play around anymore.
It's time to go for the titles.
Yes.
And you need to change your mindset, and you need to get more serious about this, and that means win the match.
Yes.
At all costs. Don't stand there shaking the guy's hand for 30 seconds.
Nobody's in the ring.
You kick him in the gut, and you take advantage. Drags him over to the corner, and we get a tag.
Yep.
I don't have any notes until, let's see. Ford goes with a belly to back high angle.
Yes.
Backdrop.
That backdrop was just nasty.
Folds, who was it? Irvin.
Yep.
In half. To the point to where the ref backed him off and went down to check on Irvin to make sure he was not, didn't have a broken neck, I would say.
I was about to say, he vibrated a little bit when he hit the ground. He did that D-Lo shuffle, or not D-Lo, Devon shuffle.
The commentators even, I think somehow he makes it to the ropes. I don't remember how he battles out of this, but the commentators even mention, how in the hell is he still walking after that
Morrow's
shit?
like, how?
So Carrillo gets the hot tag. We see that handspring elbow. He seems like he defies gravity as long as he holds in the air after that handspring.
Yeah.
Because he just manages to look over his shoulder, much like EC3, and see where his opponent is, and then put a cock into his elbow, and then bring it back.
Yeah.
How do you have that much time?
He knits a sweater while he's up there.
This guy gets so much air. It's crazy. It's no wonder he's on 205 Live. I'm kind of like, though, what does it matter, though? He's still on NXT.
Yeah.
And I'm glad, because this was a very fun match. Not necessarily because of Irvin. Mr. Irvin Jr. was more like the punching bag of that team.
Irvin, I think, was put on the team for two reasons. 1, Humberto Carrillo needed a partner, and 2, somebody needed to be pinned in a match and it needs to not be Humberto Carrillo.
Now he gets one good move in.
That moonsault.
I'm gonna get there, but after that handspring elbow by Carrillo, he goes for that spring arm drag, where he goes for an arm drag and he springs off the top rope. This time he converts the arm drag from Ford to Dawkins, or was it from Dawkins to Ford?
Dawkins to Ford.
It was Dawkins to Ford. And then does a deep arm drag onto Ford.
Yeah.
Fucking amazing.
Yeah, he just
goes up for a missile drop kick, and here's another instance where he gets more air than a guy should be allowed to do. But this is a perfect match because so does Montez Ford. Just his ability to leap from a standing position over the top rope, it rivals that of Ricochet.
Yeah.
Even Ricochet has to put some run into it. When Ford did it, it looked like he stopped his run and then planted his feet and jumped.
Yeah.
Wow. So these two guys, I want to see them in a one-on-one match.
Oh yeah, that'd be really good.
So missile drop kick by Carrillo into that inverted rolling thunder where he lands it with a standing moonsault. We get a near fall. Then Irvin goes up top with a tsunami salt, I think is what they call it. High angle moonsault. Not only high angle, but very close to the ropes.
Yeah.
Like he does a very short, almost as close as Mustafa Ali needs him for the inverted 450 for the 054.
Yeah.
Just amazing moonsault. But that's really all we get out of Irvin.
I was about to say he did get him in range of like Kidman's old like shooting star press and whatnot, just for about that area. So it's a very tricky spot, but at the same time he nailed it beautifully.
So the end of the match sees Irvin getting popped up into what looked like a power bomb, but then he goes for a Hurricane Rana, doesn't get it. Dawkins holds on, lifts him up, turns him around on his shoulders into the electric chair.
Yeah.
And we see another Doomsday Blockbuster, which they called the Super Blockbuster, and I'm like, all right, uninspired, not creative at all.
What would you call it? Me, I like the name The Drop.
I don't know what I would call it, but I wouldn't just leave it Super Blockbuster. I think a Super Blockbuster is a regular blockbuster, but off the top rope.
Yeah.
Because usually a blockbuster is done off the middle rope.
Yeah.
This is a Doomsday Blockbuster, if anything. Electric chair block, I don't know.
Because I like the idea.
Give me a week and I'll tell you next week on the show.
I like the idea of profits dropping. Yeah, the drop. If you guys have an idea, go ahead and put it in our comment section below the video as well.
So great match. And we follow this up with an after-match promo. Trademark after-match. And basically the Street Profits say, there's a lot of talk about gold going around. They want a piece. And they don't care if they got to go to war to do it. So basically...
We were like War Raiders.
Yeah. And they then blatantly call out the War Raiders. We want you. We want the gold.
But we don't get them.
We don't get them. We get Fabian Eichner and Marcel Bartel.
Which gets us super excited.
I'm super excited.
Oh, yeah.
Even though it doesn't make sense, because they say nobody deserves title shots more than they do. And I'm like, I don't think you've won any matches on NXT.
I think you skipped the part where they said, where Bartel said, 9.
Oh, you could just assume when he does talk, he's going to say 9.
We
actually got more out of him, I think, this week onto the mic than we did when he addressed Walter or Walter on.
We got way more out. We got way more out of him.
So we're starting to hear more out of him.
He was coming off like a diehard villain.
But that's not all. Now we get Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch come out. And they want a piece of the action. I don't even think they got a microphone.
They didn't say anything.
But we are now interrupted by the team that matters, the War Raiders. They come out with the titles over their shoulders because it don't fit around their waist.
Nope.
That's his joke, by the way. So they're basically like, you want it? You want us? Come get us. We're right here.
Yeah. And
nobody gets the opportunity because the Undisputed Era, everybody except Adam Cole.
Yeah.
So we have Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly, and Roderick Strong. All three of them come out and attack the War Raiders from behind, throw them into the ring, and then everybody attacks them. While the Undisputed Era is just like, ha ha ha, and they tail it back up to the stage. And the War Raiders fend off everybody in the ring.
Let's take a second to talk about the Undisputed Era's beards, because we skipped over this part during their trailer conversation earlier. It's the fact that Roderick Strong really looks like he's trying to grow into beard to be with the rest of the gang.
Well, he's got the 5 o'clock shadow going on.
Yeah.
But I think it's just their version of the growth of a beard, because in order it goes the 5 o'clock shadow of Roderick Strong into more of a couple of days growth by Adam Cole to maybe a week or two by Kyle O'Reilly, and then you've got a real beard going on with
Bobby Fish.
That's my thought.
They are the new evolution.
So, Undisputed Era, they kind of get out of all of this, but the War Raiders, man, they dumped, who was it? It was Oney Lorcan over the top rope.
Yeah.
And just throw him out into everybody. But then Undisputed Era is up on the ramp, or on the stage, just looking on like,
they look thwarted.
Yeah, completely thwarted. Their efforts for naught. And
very well put.
I'm hoping that this is going to, and this was your idea, end up in a fatal 4-way tag match or a 4 corners tag match with Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, Eichmann and Bartel. Who are the other teams
here? And Bartel.
Eichmann, Street Profits, and I guess Undisputed Era.
I say Undisputed, yeah.
Or maybe no Era because they're the former champs. And it's just War Raiders, and it's for the titles.
That'd be interesting, but I don't think they put them in a 4-way match for the first title defense.
Fucking why not, man? So, up next we've got a video package for Johnny Gargano. We are likewise going to get a video package for Velveteen Dream. This is promoting the match next week for the North American Championship.
Which needs really no promoting at all. It's Velveteen Dream and Johnny Gargano.
Now, which video package did you like better? Because I thought the Johnny Gargano video package was a little misleading.
Yeah, I still like Velveteen Dreams better because, like, it's still showing how he's, like, one of the main attractions, the main events and whatnot. And he's not even part of the show, like his appearance at TakeOver.
Well, it chronicled his domination, I guess, of the Worlds Collide tournament. He was the second to last person in the ring, wasn't he?
Yeah.
In the initial battle royal, and then won the whole thing, and got a chance to fight for any title. 3 that he qualifies for, because I don't believe he's under 205.
No.
He could have gone for the NXT Championship. That would be my number 1 choice. The NXT UK Championship, that would be my number 2 choice. Or the one he's actually going for. Makes no fucking sense.
The North American title.
But I am glad to get the match between him and Johnny Gargano off the back of it.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of another match between him and Tommaso Ciampa.
I think that's the only reason they're doing it is to switch it up a little bit. But at the same time, this also gives Johnny Gargano a viable...
It doesn't make sense. It's so nonsensical. It makes me want to cry. Why? Why would he go for the North American title when he could have gone for the NXT title?
I think he would have gone for the NXT title if he was on Gargano. But he's already lost to champion. He can't lose any more face when it comes to that.
So anyway, up next, we have the women's match of the night. And I hate to say it that way, but it really was. Most of what we get coming out of this happens after the match, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
And we've got Tainara Conti versus Aaliyah. And it's not long into this semi-boring match, and I'll say it, because it was very sloppy. A lot of spots that looked like they were just barely saved from being botched.
Yeah.
And then the interesting part is when Vanessa Bourne comes out ringside and nobody knows why, and I'm like, I don't really care, but if this is going to be something that we're going to see story-wise over the next few weeks or months, God, I hope it's interesting.
Yes.
And I have no notes for this match until Vanessa Bourne actually gets involved. She keeps, I believe, Conti from going to the top rope from the apron, grabbing her foot while the ref is distracted, just long enough to distract her. And then, let's see.
Hair mirror off the top.
Yeah. Basically, Aaliyah grabs her hair, throws her off the top, and then does an inverted Kimura. Yep. Imagine what an inverted Kimura looks like, done from top down instead of bottom up.
Yep.
And uses her leg, like the back of her thigh, and just starts dropping leg drops across Conti's head, and
it was effective looking finisher.
Nearly immediately taps, and she taps so flailing like it really hurt that I don't think that the referee noticed it as tapping out until she'd already been doing it for a few seconds. So that's the end of the match. But then Vanessa Bourne gets in the ring, and we're like, okay, so they're together.
We get to announce that they're actually together, and
they're a little bit together. So Vanessa Bourne goes to raise Aaliyah's hand, and then does the finger interlocks hand hold. And I'm sitting here like, hey,
RLA.
We might be getting some of that RLA that I've been preaching about. That respectful lesbian action. Just saying. They've been edging some of the main roster content a little towards Attitude Era, more like PG-13 content. I'm just saying, this is network.
But that tender moment is crushed.
Yeah. Baszler comes out. Shayna Baszler.
Out of nowhere.
And for what seems like no reason other than she's just pissed off that she got pinned in a 6-woman tag match where she basically had 2 crash test dummies as partners. I mean, what else are you going to say? So
I couldn't put it better myself, really.
She comes out to put an end to the party and beats down everybody. Well, no, she goes to get in the ring, and Conti's the only one left because Aaliyah and Vanessa Bourne hit dodge, and they start to leave. But they're backing up the rampway like idiots, looking at Baszler. So
Duke and Shafir.
Yeah. Out from the entranceway come Duke and Shafir, and they knock them down and throw them in the ring, and then we see one of them succumb. I can't remember if it was Bourne or if it was Aaliyah. One of them succumbed to that fireman's carry drop, but held up, and then Duke goes for the kick. And this time it was a little different than just a kick. Like, she kind of grabbed her toe and then snapped into the kick, but we were really hoping for that axe kick.
Because that would show we've been watched.
Yeah. That would definitely show they've been watching us. Oh, yeah, axe kick. Brilliant. Great idea. Maybe they don't trust her to do that right now. Who knows?
I was about to say, it'd probably be a lot easier, a lot safer to do than the kick that she was trying.
So Shayna runs a knee into Conti in the corner and then pulls Conti out, and I guess we get a new signature move out of Shayna Baszler. She goes for a gut buster, but it's like a tilt-a-buster. Like a gut buster, tilt-a-whirl done onto the other side into the slam. And I dug it. I don't think I've seen that out of anybody in the main roster or NXT. So, cool. New signature move. I don't think it's going to be a finisher for her.
I was about to say, as much as I hate to use the term, it seemed very MMA-like.
I think if anything's going to be her finishing move that's not a submission, would be that running enziguri knee that she does.
Yeah.
That's not too far off from a Daniel Bryan running knee, but she throws that enziguri in and just lifts it into their face, and it's just brutal looking.
Yeah.
So basically, Shayna gets on the mic and says, "This is your new.
This is the new way. This is how it's going to be."
Yeah. Don't get in our way. Do not question us, and most of all, do not piss us off.
I wonder if she can start wearing Jeff Jarrett shirts.
But still, there's no credibility in Duke or Shafir. So this is basically just me reacting emotionally to Shayna saying that.
Yeah.
I believe that with or without Duke or Shafir beside her.
I was about to say, she if there's any possible way of her getting any more intense, this was it.
So this just crossed my mind. What if the story here is that Shayna Baszler is just that good even without them? Oh, that she is that good with 2 completely useless jabronis behind her.
Yeah.
She's good enough to make up for their, but maybe not against 3 though, because they did win lose the 6-woman tag match last week. So,
but
what else?
But it took Belair and Io Shirai to take down Baszler though, both of them.
So this is where we get the Velveteen Dream video pack, but we already mentioned that. So on to the main event, Ricochet versus Adam Cole. And this was like a 14 or 15 minute match. Like, every bit what you expect out of these two. I did not take a whole lot of notes. I more like to sit and watch.
Oh, definitely.
There was a spot towards the beginning. This is where Cole gets his advantage. He's on the top turnbuckle, and Ricochet follows him up. But Cole slips through, and he super kicks Ricochet's leg out from under him, his left leg, which slips through the ropes, goes under, gets caught up in the turnbuckle, and basically hangs him out to dry in a short tree of woe.
Yeah.
And this is the injury. This is the left leg injury, and Cole immediately gets out of the ring, pulls him into the corner, wraps the leg around the post, and from here on out, up until the end of the match, it's basically just Cole working over Ricochet's left leg, and Ricochet trying to get back and do the spots that he does with one leg.
But he couldn't.
Sometimes he literally does spots with one leg.
Yeah.
He does a springboard into... Normally he'd do a 450, but he did a senton, almost a swanton.
Yeah.
Ended up going across Cole's legs because he couldn't hit it with two legs. He literally went off the top rope with one leg.
Yeah.
It was awkward looking, but he pulled it off even if he nailed it wrong. But it made sense that he nailed it wrong.
Yep.
Because he always jumps off, and like he has to jump diagonally.
Yeah.
Every time he does it. And so this was great. It completely played the story of the left leg, and that was the story from beginning to end of this match. Unfortunately for me, looking towards the future and what it would build, it didn't tell the story that I was hoping for.
No.
I was hoping for this being the story of why it's okay for Ricochet to lose, because he literally lost his leg during the entire match and couldn't hit his moves. But no, Ricochet wins. He wins this match with...
First he nails the Hurricane Rana, like
Frankensteiner. Off the top. Then lands this sick axe kick to the back of...
Cole's head.
Yeah. And like with the bottom of his foot, like with his heel, like it just looked like it would hurt.
Left it Cole in a triangle shape.
Gets him up for a Northern Lights, floats over into a vertical suplex, almost a brain buster, floats over that into a vertigo, which is...
Chris Sabin's cradle shock from Impact Wrestling.
Yeah, basically. 1, 2, 3. And I'm like, what?
It was a great finish.
Oh, yeah. Great series of moves.
What I love about it was it was so intense because Ricochet is screaming the entire time because he gets... like just still selling the hell of that leg, but he's on that adrenaline high, and it was just an intense.
It was like
moment.
4 moves, but by the end of it, you knew Adam Cole was not kicking out of that.
No.
I would have preferred to see Adam Cole win. Like, he needs momentum right now because he has completely been flatlined.
Yep. I mean, he was the one that got pinned in the halftime heat.
So after this, Undisputed Era comes out. The rest of them, they do an aftermatch beatdown on Ricochet, and then of all people, Aleister Black comes out. But by this point, it's him versus at least 3, if not 3.5, because Adam Cole's, back to being able to kick ass, and he gets laid out. So we end the show with Undisputed Era standing tall over Ricochet and Aleister Black. And what does that mean? And why did Aleister Black come out to help Ricochet in such a dumbass way? It's not like he came out with 1 or 2 other people. It's just him.
I think if they should come, if War Raiders will come out, people will be like, "Oh shit, it's War Games all over again." Instead of Pete Dunne, we're getting Aleister Black.
It's got to have been somebody. Kona Reeves turns face, comes out, helps Aleister Black.
I think anybody but Aleister Black, because right now, yeah, it's like, okay, we get it. Aleister Black's a good guy. We got that in halftime heat. We got that prior to his match with Johnny Gargano. His whole comeback has been him being a good guy. Even before then, he was still a face. We don't need any more of it, justification that Aleister Black is actually a face in this company.
He needs something to do. He's not going after Ciampa in the belt. So he's not in the title picture.
He needs to just go up.
Yeah, he needs to get called up, but I don't think that's going to happen until
because
after
now
Mania.
now he's going to seemingly just get put in nonsensical storylines and feuds, and that's just going to like completely kill any momentum.
So that brings us to the end of the main event, and around here we rate the main event using the General's 5-star rating system. Jerry, where do you put this main event?
3.5. Pretty much like it was everything I was expecting out of a Cole and Ricochet match, but there was really no payoff to it in any way, shape, or form. We don't have a new champion or anything because neither one of them had belts. We got to see Undisputed Era like whoop up on Aleister Black and Ricochet after the match, and that really didn't do any good. The story behind the whole thing was Ricochet's leg. And if it weren't for the fact that Ricochet was nailing a whole bunch of really great moves off of his injured leg, and also like still winning the match in such an intense manner, I probably would have just rated it a 3. But I really enjoyed that. Plus, I did your whole system where I had a quarter because like the show itself was actually.
So you came up from a 3 1/4.
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, you know it's about the story.
Yes.
And the story of the leg was told from damn near the beginning all the way through the match. Overcoming the leg, like you said, with the adrenaline.
Yeah.
And that brings it up. What also brings it up is the fact that that story in and of itself changes the complexion of the match. The normal match you would see Ricochet in a 14 or 15 minute match, you'd see a lot of, as we like to say, flippy spinny shit.
Flippy spinny shit.
You'd see a lot of high spots. Save that for a pay-per-view. Right now, take out the leg, and now we get a very different kind of match, one where Adam Cole is believable taking over. Just keep going back to the leg.
I even called it a couple times. I was like, man, it looks like Adam Cole may actually win this one.
So I like that. I liked at the end, it made sense for the Undisputed Era to come out and beat the shit out of him. It would made more sense for them to come out and try and help Adam Cole get the victory, but whatever. Coming off the back of a great show. I'm going to go with 4 stars for this main event.
Wow.
That extra quarter star off of a great show. So
Sure, the women's match. The women's match was kind of lackluster, but I think the payoff was the after-match beatdown.
I tell you what, best way to make Baszler look like a badass is to make it look like she holds these two up with her.
Yeah.
She can still cut a promo and sound like she means it, even though you look back at, Fuddy and Duddy over there. And they don't look like they're very much used to her, but she doesn't need it.
Nope.
All she needs is a couple of eyes keeping a look over her back.
Yep.
So I'm going 4 stars. So that brings us to the end of What's NXT. And thank you for joining us. If you'd like to join us and review an episode of NXT UK, we'd love to have you on an episode of
The Tea Party.
The NXT Party. We'll put you right up here on the big screen, as we said earlier. So if you want to contact me, go to nodq.com/Stefan, Stefan. That'll take you to my Twitter. If you just want to get on Twitter and find me, it's at Stephan R. Osborne, Osborne. As always, the R stands for restricted. You can also find this gentleman on Twitter.
At NoDQ General, and also on my Facebook group Armbar, all capital, ARMBAR, exclamation point. We have general discussion, general
General
memes, funny stuff, and just great people. So go ahead and join up. Find Stephan right on there.
And if you like this video, click the like button. That's underneath me. If you like all of our videos, you should click the subscribe button. That'll be underneath Jerry. And if you want to get these videos early, they go up on our channel, Aftermatch Wrestling, first. And then about a half a day later, they'll end up on NoDQ for the masses. And we're trying to help NoDQ get to 60,000 subscribers by WrestleMania. We're also trying to get 100 subscribers on our channel, AFTERMATCH, Aftermatch Wrestling. And if we get to 100 subscribers, we're going to start doing these videos live. That
without
way,
a net.
The few of you that are up at those weird hours can chat with us and leave us comments, and we will answer them at the end of each video. After we do all of these ridiculous ass plugs. So, for the General Jerry Slaughter, I am of course the Wizard of No DQ, Stefan Osborne, and we will see you guys NXT time.